A champion is defined as someone who fights for or defends a person or cause. In that definition, we see what it means to be a champion and what it means to live in Edmonton, a city of champions. Edmonton was originally settled as a fur trading post on the North Saskatchewan River. Once the Canada Pacific Railway and the Calgary and Edmonton Railway were built in the late 1800s, Edmonton and its neighbor to the south, Strathcona, were joined. The city as we know it today began to take shape and was now connected to the rest of Canada. Ever since Edmonton's first settlers populated the banks of the North Saskatchewan, people have come to the city from far and wide because it represented a sense of opportunity. As Edmonton was gaining momentum, the summer of 1915 brought a devastating flood, wiping out many of Edmonton's early riverside communities and businesses. This was the first time the community as a whole rallied together in the face of adversity.
I think it goes back to the pioneer spirit from Alberta being a rough and tumble prairie place, and you had to take care of yourself and your neighbors because it wasn't coming from the east and it certainly wasn't coming from the west.
I think what kind of galvanized the city was the fact that it was a frontier town and a lot of people came here in order to find fortune. But at the same time, it's a harsh environment. You know, when you're in these types of environments, if you don't pull together, you're not going to survive for very long.
After World War I, Edmonton took its innovating spirit worldwide, thanks to aviation pioneer Wilfred Wap May, an ace pilot who called the city home. Wilfred was instrumental in developing the Blatchford Airfield, the first licensed airport in Canada, solidifying Edmonton as the gateway to the north.
Well, traits that make a champion, first of all, is you don't quit. There's no backup. You work from the balls of your feet, and you have to continue to track down, chase down what you want, overcome adversity, and that's what makes champions.
A champion to me is a person who is determined, shows perseverance, shows that grit, hard work, dedication to whatever they're doing.
Although Edmonton was still a young city at the time, its sports teams were excelling on the national and international stage.
Imperial Leduc #1 struck oil.
In 1947, the face of Edmonton was forever changed with the Leduc oil strike. Edmonton would soon be known as the oil capital of Canada, and the economic boom resulted in the city growing exponentially.
The opportunities that came from Leduc #1 are overwhelming. They provided opportunity for research. They provided opportunity for young people to grow up and move off the farm. They provided opportunity for immigrants coming here. They provided opportunity for sport. We never want to make short or light of what the oil industry did for our city and Northern Alberta as a whole.
We're so very, very fortunate, medicine and education. Here we have universities on a par with any in Canada, and I would say North America, and in many, many cases, some specialties, with the world.
The first Canadian hospital to offer dialysis to patients was the University Hospital. The first kidney transplant in Canada was here. We are too modest sometimes. I mean, there's a thin edge. We have to be careful about how much we brag, and we don't want to become over the top about it, but we don't know enough about those kinds of things, about the long list of Edmonton firsts and things in which we can take such great pride.
Edmonton was the home of the first Fringe Theatre Festival in Canada, created in 1982. Both the Fringe Festival and the Edmonton Folk Music Festival helped grow the city's unique art scene and established Edmonton as the festival city.
One of Edmonton's taglines became the Festival City. They earned it, they deserve it, and they still fly that banner. The folk festival just happened. It continues to happen. The Shumka dancers, world class, worldwide.
Edmonton is still a young city. We're a vibrant city. But because we're young, we're innovative, and that creates creative, intuitive thinking, and that's what fosters new, innovative ideas. And that's what makes this the City of Champions, is if you're looking for innovation and unique and something special, Edmonton is where it's at.
As the city grew, its presence on the world stage grew along with it. In 1978, Edmonton hosted the Commonwealth Games at the brand new Commonwealth Stadium. 5 years later, Edmonton hosted the Universiade Games. From these two events, Edmonton became renowned on a global scale.
Not much doubt that Warren Lewin.
In the years that followed, Edmonton's professional sports teams began record-breaking dynasties, led by some of the greatest athletes of all time.
And now 5 great top rings will adorn his finger. The Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
In those glory days of the Oilers and the Eskimos, they were the sort of the last remaining dynasties. They were the kind of team that would win 5 cups out of 6 years. You know, that doesn't happen anymore. It applies to champions in sports, of course, but also in entrepreneurship and ideas, in scientific research, and the arts. In every aspect of life, we have champions and have had.
There's been a terrible disaster in Edmonton. Tornadoes ripped through the city this afternoon, killing at least 28 people.
On Black Friday, July 31st, 1987, the city of Edmonton experienced its worst natural disaster, a devastating tornado that destroyed much of the city.
We were doing a television show. Everything went black in the studio, and we didn't know why. The emergency lights came on and we finished shooting the show. We didn't realize until we left what had happened, and we were driving home and having to stop and remove trees from the road to get home.
My wife and my son were in the house. A good buddy of mine just rang the doorbell when it hit. The house came down and my buddy pulled him out.
And it goes up and all this sweep of air came in and we got scared real fast.
In the face of monumental adversity, Mayor Lawrence Decore coordinated a citywide effort that will go down in history as a triumph of compassion and unity.
There are still people that are trapped in automobiles or houses or warehouses.
Lawrence Decore put together a drive to get bottled water and canned goods and that, and whatever it took to get out there and help the first responders, the survivors, the people all out there, all the Edmontonians, a whole bunch of champions out there working.
I got caught right in the tornado. There was houses flying across 23rd Avenue, trucks flying across. I got out of my truck to help people and got thrown 30 feet across into a field. And when I got up, there were people laying all over the place, so we picked up a couple of bodies, injured people. We put them in the back of my truck and took them out to the ambulances on the Sherwood Park Freeway.
That's, went down in history as one of the worst disasters of its day, and how the Edmonton people came together to support each other during the aftermath of that catastrophic event was recognized nationally and internationally.
I remember vividly, Lawrence Decore looking, he was standing right in point zero, where everything was devastation, and his rally cry was City of Champions. It was always intended that the City of Champions meant not just Wayne Gretzky, not just Warren Moon, but Joe and Molly Sixpack, people who just volunteered and did things. When they saw that the city was in need, they jumped in.
That is about when the idea of the City of Champions came up, and that's another indication of the fact that they were referring, it is very clear, not only to the sports teams, but to the nature of the city. It described the city. and I think it still does.
Those are the people that I see every day and interact with every day. They're the volunteer people. They're the people that are giving with their wallets. They're the people that are giving with their hearts. Those are the champions. Those are the people making the difference. And it's all aspects of our life, our cultural, our spiritual. It happens right here in Edmonton.
I think we're just get it done, people. As opposed to talking about what we did or talking about what we're going to do. We just actually just do it. Just get on with it.
The level of excellence that is sometimes achieved and always aimed for here is really remarkable.
With it, in center ice, here's Moser. His long shot right on Robertson. He steers it off, and there's a hard check over there on the far side, and we've got a Clipper player down.
We were playing a game in Powell River on October 24th, and go for a line change, and I got hit from behind into the boards and broke my C5, C6 vertebrae. So about a week after that, we started getting word from Edmonton. One of my old coaches was starting to get all the business people in community kind of on my side and starting, and that was kind of where the Aaron Moser Spinal Cord Injury Foundation first started to come through. It started with about 4 or 5 people. It just caught fire, and it didn't matter if it was someone who never watched the game of hockey. Edmonton just rallied around.
Our athletes in our community in Edmonton, because of the slogan and because of the representation that we've had being the City of Champions, I find our athletes in our community get almost more involved because of it. When something directly supports our community gets together, and it's not just a little charity event, but becomes something big.
Edmonton is known for volunteering. Edmonton is known for coming to the aids of people, whether it be the Fort McMurray fire or flooding in Calgary or whatever it is. We come to help our neighbors. We come to make a better neighborhood. And I think it's that volunteerism that really are some of the silent champions that are out there that are making things happen within the city.
When disaster hits, they come here. And they come here not just because we have the facilities, but because we open our doors, our homes, our hotels, our facilities, everything, to people who need our help. And I think that's a remarkable legacy and sign of the health of a community that's willing to be a champion for those who need it.
And the City of Edmonton is just an amazing group of people that support no matter what, and you see it all the time. You see it with the Fort McMurray fire. It's just, yeah, it's an incredible community, and I'm proud to be an Edmontonian.
A champion really refers to the citizenry, the way we've welcomed others who have needed support and help during times of disaster, the number of different charities and causes that have been born here and have spread across the country.
You know, I think that the community is strong. I think the community gets together and supports each other, and I think that's something that's been instilled in Edmonton for a long time.
Edmonton is really give me a lot of opportunity to grow, and I did, and I think it's a very good place to be living. We were, we will be, and we are champions.
It's a special kind of home, and that's what makes us a City of Champions.
Well, everything makes me proud of being an Edmontonian. I was delighted when we came up with the idea of adopting the City of Champions. We always were, we still are, and we should be.
And I think really we're very fortunate to have visionary people in this who are leaders.
I'd say it's time to celebrate and honor the people who earned that moniker and inspire our youth going forward to continue to be the City of Champions. Don't be the city of mediocrity. Don't be the city of, what are you going to do for me?
Edmonton's a City of Champions, and we should be proud to tell people they're coming into it.
While nobody knows what the future will hold for Edmonton, what is certain is that the champion's mentality will continue to prevail in the face of adversity. as the city evolves and Edmontonians forge new and innovative paths ahead. One thing remains true. Edmonton is, and always will be, a city of champions.